So we now have stats that say that tourism and travel in Vegas is so bad, the revenues are so backwards, that Vegas is bringing down the United States of America's travel tourism industry single-handedly as a whole. So in this video, we're going to talk about a troubling new report that we have from an independent agency that shows the occupancy numbers and the declines in Vegas in July. We're also going to be talking about the measures that the Visitors Authority here is doing to try to bring you back. Hint, hint, it involves spending a bunch of money. We're also going to be talking about what this all means to you going forward, because we got some stellar deals. My name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. I tell the truth about the hotels. Let's take a tour around the Las Vegas Strip in glorious 4K. As we say, 1, 2, 3, and action. So the first thing we should talk about is the fact that these casinos are officially losing money. Caesars Entertainment, which owns Caesars Palace behind me, turns out that Caesars is going to have bad quarterly earnings again. They're supposed to be actually demolishing the rotunda over here, but instead of doing that, it's kind of been put on hold. The rotunda is now a place where people come and sit and smoke weed and make the Strip sound like the Green Monster. But yeah, it's not the only one. You can only spend so much money on advertising and marketing before it becomes clear that things like RevPar, which we'll explain in a minute, they're really, really bad right now. By the way, right here, this is the only intersection in the whole city where you can walk diagonally across the road because all four corners change. We have reports right now of 17% drops in room occupancy and visitorship in July. Now, these are early reports. The LVCVA, they do all of our tourist stats officially. They're going to come out and they're going to say their report in a week or two. Subscribe to the channel because I'm going to be covering that. But 17% of drop in July versus the July before is a large drop. It's big enough that it's actually starting to make waves in the entire industry in general. People are noticing that the value proposition isn't here for Vegas. When you come to Vegas, they want to charge you for everything. It's the same things that we talked about in our video from last week, which I'll post up a link to in the first comment of this video, where I said only a moron would come here because the prices are out of control. It's the fact that people are coming in and not spending as much money, even when they are coming in. So not only are they coming in less, they're not spending as much money on their stays. This is causing major problems for casino companies whose whole entire game has been extracting the maximum amount of money out of people that they possibly can, especially for the last few years of the COVID recovery we've been in. You see, Vegas is a business. These casinos are in the business to make money. And the way they've been making money here in town for the last several years has been by everly increasing the prices of things to a point where the market is finally reacting and people are now responsive to the prices they're presenting. So they can always lower the prices of experiences, show tickets, and other things. But the one place where the hotel has always had a built-in buffer, the one place casino companies have always been able to kind of make their money back, has been room revenues. And room revenues in Vegas are something that is a guaranteed bet for casino properties, and it's something that is breaking. And how bad is it breaking? It's breaking so bad in Vegas that the entire travel tourism industry is affected. So what happens in Vegas no longer stays in Vegas. And that's a statistic that we have to call RevPar. Because you see, for a while there, the hotel rooms in Vegas were just going up in price every single month. We went from about $150 per night on average before the COVID shutdown to well over $250, sometimes as high as $300 per average room night in Vegas. And that seems to be sinking, but it's sinking so quickly that the casinos don't know how to react to it. So RevPar, the revenue per average room price in Vegas, is down a staggering 29% over the last few months in this town. This is so bad that if you take Vegas out of the equation, the entire United States of America, where we have lots of hotel rooms and resort towns, appears relatively flat. It doesn't look too bad until you take into account the giant black sinkhole that Vegas has created for itself by overcharging for rooms as much as they have. But that's not the least of the problems, you see, because for many, many years, Vegas has relied on one type of consumer to come to the city. One type of customer who had corporate backing, who would spend big and didn't care about these things. And that would be the conventions. And the conventions were doing okay but they're not doing okay. Conventions are in trouble. Yeah, the one thing that would always get Vegas through the hardest times has always been conventions. And at this point, even conventions can't fill the gap as much as they used to. You see, conventions take up parts of the calendar in Vegas where there might not be people coming. People get their credit card statements in January, so consumer electronics fills the gap. People are going back home with their kids in September, so the SEMA show comes in and puts 150,000 people in town. But even that's down 8.3% over the last few months. So conventions that bring billions of dollars a year to Vegas are largely flat. If they're not flat, they're getting flat. And if they're already flat, they're tanking even more. All this is causing major disruption in several industries that you may not think of. Uber and Lyft drivers aren't able to make ends meet, and the taxi industry in particular is getting hit really, really bad. How bad? Well, we had somebody reach out to us on email and tell us what a taxi driver said to him, and it was shocking, frankly. Props go out to my man BH for tipping me off. He said that he was taking a taxi from the airport, and he asked the driver a couple of questions about the economy. The driver said that on average, he'd be able to get a fare out of the airport in most regular circumstances in about 20 or 25 minutes. This particular driver had been waiting 1 hour and 34 minutes just to get somebody to pick up so he could throw 10 or 20 bucks on his meter. Additionally, they went to the Village Pub over at the Ellis Island and were just shown to a table right away. This is a place where my wife and I have been in the past, and getting a table in 20 minutes used to be hard. Now getting one right away is certainly unheard of. Heck, we had to put ourselves on a special waiting list and sit at a bar for over an hour to get a table just a few years ago. And that was with F1 causing disruptions around the Ellis Island. So this is causing issues for locals as well. The casinos are laying people off. We're going to be doing a video on layoffs at casinos, so be sure to subscribe for that. And as the city spirals and spins, things might get better, but they got to get better quickly. And how might that be happening? Well, we have some casinos doing some things to entice you back, but we also have the Las Vegas Visitors and Convention Authority spending big to try to convince you to come to Sin City. So as backlash on these prices and this strange situation in Vegas grows, where people are rejecting to spend money in town, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, they're the people that, basically market and advertise us. They've done a few things, namely declaring that it's a major problem and saying that they're going to increase their ad budgets by 30%. And 30% is a lot of money for the LVCVA. We're talking a company that buys Super Bowl ads every single year at the most opportune times during the game. We're talking a company that spends hundreds of millions of dollars of their bank to get the Super Bowl to come to Vegas and keep the F1 race in Vegas in order to market and promote this place. Now, whether or not they're advertising to the right people is a whole nother game altogether. We don't know if they're going to be advertising to regular folks or the high rollers. Are they going to be reaching out internationally to try to lure those people away? Because that's another thing that we have to talk about. International tourism, it's broken. Like, by a lot. So international tourism, we've had this conversation on the channel before. It's one of the reasons why the average revenue per guest is down so much, but I never thought it would be this much of an extreme problem in this town. You see, from what I have studied, only 12% or so of the visitors that come to Vegas are from international destinations. But it seems that the big problem isn't the fact that there's no butts in seats. Is that they're not spending as much as people who come over from California or Wisconsin, God bless you. It's just that these people prepare for a trip over international borders, and right now, they're simply not willing to take that trip. Tell me in the comments below why you think that is, as I dodge bullets and don't even touch upon why that could be. But international travelers are decreasing the revenues in the town. This is hurting the casinos and forcing them to get to the point of layoffs, something we'll touch upon the channel a little bit later, so be sure to subscribe for that. When it comes to those internationals, they could be advertising and marketing directly to them. But what about those deals? What about the inevitable deals? The supply and demand? Well, we got a couple of deals. Let's talk about how that might win you back to Vegas. Or you tell me in the comments below if this is basically a lost cause for you by this point. So what would fix all this? Fixing all this would entail a big property in the center of the Strip actually getting rid of their resort fees. We're not there yet. But when we are, I'm going to make a video about it. So for the third time, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We do updates every single week and live streams on the weekends. But Sahara has recently gotten rid of their resort fees for the summer. That's a good start. In addition to that, you have Resorts World. They got rid of their resort fees, but then you got to stay at Resorts World, and it's a shopping mall with a casino afterthought. But at the same time, until it happens in the center of the Strip, ain't nothing going on the resort fee front. We do have some hotels offering all-inclusive stays, like the Plaza downtown, Circa downtown, and the Stratosphere has some pretty good offers as well. Of course, if you're well-versed in Vegas, willing to get a car, you can simply stay off the Strip. Locals hotels, which are things that are off the Strip, properties like the Gold Coast and the Sun Coast and the Red Rock Resort and the Rio, they're generally going to offer a better value proposition for the gamer and for the person that just wants to have a nice room without all the hassle of the Strip. So you can still find deals in the town, but until things change, Vegas is in a free fall. One like I've never seen before. You know, I'm putting together a video which is going to compare Vegas to the pandemic and the pre-pandemic numbers. I've already posted it up on Patreon. And if you were in Patreon, you'd have your name in the credits of this video right now, like you see the amazing people beside me. You also get over an hour and a half in some cases of extra video every month. Heck, I just posted up a 40-minute long video with a woman who worked in the oldest industry in the world, the you-know-what industry. She told you how you-know-what trafficking is happening right in front of you in Vegas, and Patreon members got to see that. So make sure you check out Patreon. If you're just browsing through, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I have a playlist next to my head here in a second with other videos on the economy and the real deal in Vegas. Once again, my name is Steven. I'm not leaving Las Vegas. As we go down this lonely corridor towards the pool at the Flamingo, we'll say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? Look at the camera. We say 3, 2, 1, and click.